Hello, Drift fans, and welcome to round 3 of 8 of the Formula Drift Championship presented by Blackview. We are your tour guides. I'm Jared Deenda, and joining me once again is my co-host and great friend, Ryan Sage. Ryan, how are we doing?
We're doing great. You know, it's a really hot day here in Orlando Speed World. Humidity in the air, possibly a little bit of rain, but so far so good. We're seeing some great runs in practice and looking forward to an amazing event here on qualifying day.
Not unfamiliar territory for a lot of the Formula Drift drivers, not only because we've been here at Orlando Speed World, but a roval, race course, and an oval combined, you know, different versions of it from Irwindale to Wall Speedway. How do you think the drivers are going to take all the elements, especially the weather?
Well, you know, it's really not a complex layout. It's actually pretty simple, but it has elements of Irwindale, has elements of Wall, and really I think it's going to come down to drivers' consistency and really favor the actual skill set of the driver on this particular course. Last year we got to see a little bit of that, but we got some weather that determined the outcome. If we see that this year, I'm sure that's going to play a definite role, but so far so good. It's nice and dry.
Yeah, you took the words out of my mouth. Showing up today, you know, we had an 80% chance of rain. Now, I mean, there's just some nice big white puffy clouds. These guys are going to make some big puffy clouds their own, courtesy of their respective tire sponsors. All right, so let's talk about the format. What are the fans and the drivers going to be seeing today?
Today is qualifying day. It's all about setup for tomorrow's main competition. We're going to see drivers compete in 2 non-consecutive runs, with the drivers receiving a score on each run, keeping the higher of the 2 scores. 32 drivers move on tomorrow into the head-to-head competition, and if there are any ties, they are broken by the lower qualifying score.
Okay, so let's take an overall look at this track. Like you said, that big, huge initiation and that big first rear clipping zone, but there are 4 points/zones, and here they go. Break them down.
Well, you can see on the line judge, he's really giving a lot of points on the first section of the course, that big long bank into that first inside clip. 25 points there, and then only 10 points on the latter part of the course. But as we take a look at the angle judge, you see he's putting a lot of emphasis on the first and second inside clip, with lesser points on the bank there, especially that last bank, where this is really just locking into the turn and then cruising around to the finish line.
And that power alley, interestingly enough, they did repave some areas. It's created a bit of a jump there in that middle section when you go from inside clip 1 to navigate, you know, and transition, do that to inside clip 1 and then to inside clip 2. But also the judges have really made an effort to break down where the drivers are to accelerate and decelerate, and here it is.
The green obviously is the acceleration, the red is a deceleration. You can see deceleration a little bit on initiation here, but this is really a full throttle course where you got to lock in your line, really stay consistent all the way through, and then you can see on the second inside clip here another little bit of a deceleration. And where this is going to play an important factor is in tomorrow's competition for tandem, but it's good for drivers to understand what they need to do in qualifying in order to compete in tandem, and so that's why you see the ACEL-decel map.
So if a driver decelerates at a certain time when the judges aren't really, not saying requesting it, but allowing it, it would kind of go against them?
Potentially, if there was contact or something like that in the acceleration area where a driver in the lead decelerated and causes contact, this basically gives us an indicator and a key about how to interpret that.
Okay, style, the last factor. We have line, angle, style. We've created an acronym called IFC. Last year was something else, but this year, Ryan, it is stands for initiation, fluidity, and commitment.
So 10 points for initiation. Obviously, initiation is going to be a big factor here because of the bank. You've got what type of initiation, how aggressive it is, your rate to angle. 10 points for that category overall. And then fluidity is the entirety of the course. How fluid are your motions from lock to lock going across the course from inside clip 1 to inside clip 2? How are your front wheels moving? Are they staying locked in angle, or are they moving all over the place? And then commitment really is just how dangerous do you look when you're driving? Are you full throttle? How is your throttle commitment in certain parts of the course where the judges are really looking for that? And that is style.
All right, so breaking it all down, you use the term rate to angle for those fans that are watching. That's actually when a driver, to see how quick, if it's slow or a snappy transition, and that's your rate to angle. That's basically a degree of measure that Ryan utilizes that phrase quite a bit, so it's a good unit of measure. All right, so we've seen how you can be a hero. Now how can one driver receive a 0?
So we've really pulled back on the zeros this year, allowing drivers to drive as aggressively as they possibly can without worrying about a small little infraction getting them a 0. So these are what we call the absolute zeros. Spinning out, opposite drift, we're drifting with the opposite angle required at a specific point on the course, or if your hood, hatch, trunk, or doors open during a run, that can be deemed a 0. A judge can also give a 0 for something that is super crazy, like driving completely off course, or doing something that just seems way out of whack. But these are what we like to say as the absolutes.
Yeah, the definitives. Okay, well, we definitely have a leader in the championship after only 2 rounds. I mean, we're just here at round 3, but we saw Chelsea Denofa rise from the ashes, and just the stars aligned for him. He's not a dark horse. He's been banging away, and we've seen great things from him over the years, but the car stayed together. He drove absolutely flawless. He went through many many champions, so he led after Long Beach. But then Vaughn Gittin Jr. debuts his new car this season, and he rose to the occasion at Road Atlanta and got the top spot in Atlanta. So let's take a look at our current championship standings as Vaughn Gittin Jr. sits in first, Chelsea Denofa sits in second, and you got Odi Bakchis third, Fredric Aasbo fourth, Chris Forsberg fifth.
And Dye, Mcquarrie, Wang, Essa, and Honadel wrapping out the top 10. And really, I think what's going to really mold this championship is consistency. We hear Chris Forsberg, a two-time champion, talk a lot about consistency. You need those grade 8 finishes, and that's why we see Vaughn out front. He had that grade 8 in Long Beach, and then the win at Road Atlanta, giving him a pretty sizable lead over the rest of the pack. But we know that this is a long season. It's a season of attrition, and this top 10 is definitely going to get shaken up.
Consistency, because you want the car to stay together. You want your mental stability consistent, and also the weather. The weather has been such a huge factor from last year. You know, we had one dry event last year, so it just really Mother Nature threw us a curveball. But you know what? We're about to throw you a curveball with qualifying. When we come back, we're going to be seeing qualifying for round 3 here at Orlando Speed World of the Formula Drift Championship, presented by Blackview. Yeah, how we doing out there, Formula Drift World and fans and Orlando Speed World? Thank you for joining us here as we are getting ready to see qualifying. I'm Jared Deanna, and Ryan Sage is with me, and we are just cleaning up the track and ready to see them do battle with not only their own vehicle, not only the track, but the elements. It's hot. It's 90 degrees, and, man, it feels really sticky. You got to imagine what's going through the guys' heads and also their race suits and helmets, Ryan.
90 degrees to us, probably 100 plus. Oof. And some inside the vehicle and out on the track. So certainly going to have to keep cool throughout the weekend here.
Yeah, and usually we're like, hey, at least it's not raining. I think they want a quick sprinkle real quick, maybe in the halftime break to cool things down. Here we go, Robbie Bushido Blade Nishida, Achilles Radial G, and he is ready to do battle with this course. We did not see him at Atlanta. He parked it in Atlanta, but it's good to see him back out here. And look at that, nice eyes on the prize, maxing out the angle with that Voodoo 13 kit as he comes through the power alley. First clipping zone, good rate to angle, as you'd say, Ryan, utilizing that term for you, in the power alley, and then bringing around that final last clipping zone and across the finish line. All right, we're officially underway here with round 3 of the Formula Drift Championship, and our first qualifying driver, that is Robbie Nishida.
Well, Robbie Nishida having a little bit of a segmented season this year. You can see starting off nice and high on the bank, so he's pretty deep into that outer zone. Just missed the initiation there, but he initiated at the second cone, which is right where the judges want the driver to initiate. You can see he stays nice and tight on that inside clip. I'd like to see him get a little bit deeper here, earlier into the zone. He'll lose a little bit of points there, but remember, as far as the line judge is concerned, he's got 25 points from initiation into the bank, so a lot of points there for the line judge. Angle judge is really putting his emphasis on the first and second inside clip. So we'll see where that puts Robbie Nishida as he is our first driver with a run in the books today. A
pretty straightforward track as far as, 2 rear clipping zones, 2 front clips. So the nuances and the judges are really focusing on is making it tight, making it perfect, making it really rock solid from start to finish. So we are right now, it looks like we're seeing Mr. Gray. Mr. Gray should be our next driver. Waiting for Robbie Nishida to score. And Nishida has received a 75. A 75. A 75 for Nishida. It looks like Gray will back off. He'll still, looks like iced on the line a little bit there, so he's going to warm up his tires once again. All right, sending car, here comes Andrew Gray, JZX, on Achilles radial tires. Locking him up there on that first initiation. Dropping down off the bank. Like to see him a little bit taller there, a little bit higher on the bank. Slamming down off the bank into the power alley. That second front clip. You can see him kind of wavering there towards that front clip. See the car really rocking back and forth, Ryan. Ticking the boxes as far as some of the clips, but as far as fluidity, wasn't exactly the smoothest.
Let's take a look here from the start. We can see Andrew Gray initiates right at that second initiation cone, so that's a good start there. You'd like to see him lock into that angle a little bit earlier, and then, as you said, just a little bit low on the bank. You can see those yellow chalk marks right there, an indication of where the line judge is going to be allocating his points. Go below that, you can definitely expect to receive a much lower score. And then again here, not locking into a wide line. on the last bank here. You like to see the drivers get that rear wheel right on that yellow line if possible, just hanging that bumper off. So Andrew Gray, decent run there, but I know he's got a better one in him, and we'll see where that puts him into the top 32.
We are back. We're live at Orlando Speed World. Our next driver set to leave the start line. Looks like it's Charles Ng, the Sogun Achilles Radial Illust S14. Parked the G37 for this event, and this is the vehicle of Juha Rintanen, a rented vehicle from Charles Ng. Nice, getting up on that wall, getting into the tire particulates, the rubber gumballs over the hump, and into that second front clip. Seeing a bit of corrections there from the front wheels, but nice, very settled. Dance with that yellow line as you talked about, Ryan. Well played there from Charles Ng in his first go-round in that S14 that, again, is borrowed from Juha Rintanen.
Yeah, pretty decent start here from Charles Ng. You can see following him down into initiation. Little snap right there, locks into angle, stays nice and high on the bank. Good fluid motion up on the bank here. Stays just a little bit long there, but he's able to bring it right back around to that inside clip. Now as he transitions through the power alley, very, very tight on that second inside clip. Look at that back right wheel just dancing on the line. Very fluid lock right here. And nice job by Charles Ng. Pretty good run there. You can see definitely going to get some good line points. So starting off strong for Charles Ng.
And from previous years, Ryan, you know, if a tire went off, you know, we'd maybe have a deduction, or in this instance, but, you know, when they go off even 2 tires, they're not saying it's a definitive 0 compared to previous years, just for some of the fans that might be comparing rules from last year to this year.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely you know, allowing the judges to take a look at the context of the run as a whole. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, concept of the run as a whole. And then so 81. All right, 81 for Charles Ng, and 81 for Charles Ng. Here we go. Cameron Moore from the Pacific Northwest. Nameless Performance. SC chassis, nice job on the bank. Slam it down, gets settled really quick. Not too much being disrupted there in the transition from clipping point 1 and 2. Getting onto that bank a little bit, as we said. You know, 1 tire off, 2 tires off, not a definitive 0 compared to previous years.
You're going to see a lot of these runs are going to look pretty similar. You're going to see that the runs are going to score very, very high, are going to have those nuances that we're really looking for. The quick, snappy initiation right into lock, staying nice and high on the bank. Cameron Moore really impressed a lot of people in Long Beach with his talents in the rain. Trying to come out strong here in Orlando. You can see starting off pretty good here. Good angle, wrapping around that second inside clip. And then nice and deep on this outer zone here. You can see almost at full lock there, and drifting right across the finish line. So Cameron Moore, strong performance in run number 1.
Yeah, definitely good to look at it in that replay. You've seen different angles, different perspectives, you know, even with the naked eye. And then when you slow things down on the second take, you really see some things like on that second outside clipping zone for Cameron Moore. I just said his front wheels were just locked. He was dialed and just staying on the throttle. There's Cameron Moore's score, excuse me, of a 77, which slides him into second position. So Cameron Moore puts a score on the board. Driver very familiar with this track. He's up next, King of Spring Break. He's from right here in Florida. The ISR supercharged V8 240SX of Pat Goodin. Here we go, Pat Goodin on the start line. BC Racing ISR on Falcon tires. All right, here we go. Pat Goodin through the chicane. Said very familiar with this track. See the quick firing up of the Falcon tires. Consistent through the bank. Dropping that back bumper. Oh no, and Pat loses it from the front clip and into the power alley. I can imagine very frustrated from Goodin. So with that, that is a 0 for the ISR Performance BC Racing S13 of Pat Goodin. Ryan, we only have 32 drivers, so what that means is each driver will make it as long as they get a score on either of the 2 runs. So Pat, gather his thoughts. Like I said, you know, as we talked about, just consistency is key. You need to be consistent in your mind, in the vehicle, and get it all settled. So he'll gather his thoughts. He'll have another go round and hopefully get a score to get him positioned into the competition. It looks like Kyle Mohan dropping the top on his MX-5, but needs some sun protection. It gets hot if you're in the direct sun out there. That's how the Mazda Tricks GT Radial MX-5, 20B powered. Kyle Mohan definitely looking strong compared, I would say, you know, with it being the maiden season for this vehicle, looking really strong. Look at that, up on the bank. Attaboy Mohan, the menace. Coming down into the power alley on that front clip. See him tapping the brakes. Kind of a slow transition, or rate to angle, as you'd say, Ryan. Standing on the throttle. You could see him kind of going over that yellow line. But an exciting run nonetheless. What do you say, Ryan? Let's look this down. Let's break it down.
Well, Kyle Mohan definitely getting points for commitment out of the gate, but coming in contact with the wall here, you can see choosing for a little bit of a different initiation. And it looks like we lost Kyle's replay there, so we can get that back up.
Yeah, he definitely.
We did make contact with the wall. I'd like to see him get a little bit more angle in front of inside clip number 1. He kind of came off with a little bit more of a straight line approach. The judges really talked about that as being a big emphasis for tandem and not trying to run away from the lead driver, or the chase driver rather. So I'm sure he'll get a few deductions there, but overall he will get a score and find his way into the 32.
Looks like he did drop some of that winglet there off of his vehicle. So our track worker, a 70 for the GT Radial MX-5 of Kyle the Menace Mohan.
Any update on that? Control tack, how we doing?
All right, our next driver here. Next driver coming down in qualifying. We are waiting for, looks like as of right now, it should be Alex Hillebrand, the Peruvian drifter, looking for him to make a name for himself here in Pro. A dominant force last year. He podiumed here at Pro 2, got the win. A dominant performance by him last year.
And hearing over the radio from the technical staff asking Alex to get moving, otherwise his competition timeout will have to be utilized, so he may be having some challenges with the vehicles. I saw him driving very aggressively during practice and made contact with one driver at least, so hopefully wasn't too much damage done, but it does sound like he is now coming to the line, so should be okay. And looking for him to kind of start fire. He looked very, very strong in Pro 2 last year. We saw him make an appearance out at Formula Drift Japan at Suzuka Twin. Unfortunately, the vehicle that he had rented detonated on him, and he wasn't able to compete, but he certainly looked really, really good in practice up until that point. He was driving Daigo's SC430.
Okay.
And looked super solid, just like we've seen him in the past. And you know that BMW is such a beast. We're just looking for him to kind of get that groove that he had in Pro 2 and really show the pro guys that he deserves to be up here. And I certainly think that is the case. So we'll see how he does here in run number 1.
Yeah, I'd agree. Like last year, just a different kind of Alex Hillebrand coming from Pro 2 into Pro. Doesn't seem like he has that same fire or impact that he did last year. And I know he changed vehicles. I mean, very similar builds, if not even stronger vehicle from last year to this year, but you know, definitely has the ability. Remember, this evening will be Pro 2. We have our top 16 Pro 2 drivers. Our number 1 qualifier, Mark Landerville, number 1 qualifier in Pro 2. Alongside the other 15 drivers we'll see in Pro 2 after qualifying today. Here we go, Alex Hillebrand, lighting up those Nitto tires on initiation. Middle of the bank, you can see him going over those yellow hash marks and even almost dropping below down to the power alley. That's what you talked about, Ryan, going to that first clipping point. There it is in the transition over the hump. And now coming to that final last clipping zone. like we said, I mean, you know, they've seen this track before. He saw it, a dominant performance by him in Pro 2 last year. Just doesn't seem like the same Alex we saw last year to today.
Definitely not the impact you want to see on this first qualifying run. You can see as soon as he initiates, he drops down below those yellow hash marks there, and that's definitely going to get him some low points on the line score. As he comes through the power alley here, you can see a little bit of a hiccup there through the center section, trying to find a lock to get into here and really draw the angle all the way through to this finish line. Not the greatest run from Alex Hildebrand, but he'll certainly get a score in the books, be in the top 32, but certainly like to see him push a little bit harder, especially in that high point section of the line score in the first bank. So one down and one more to go for Alex Hildebrand.
Jhonnattan Castro, our next driver from Dominican Republic, and there's Alex' score, a 63. Yeah, line judge with 18. That's out of total 35 points, so quite a bit there. 24 out of 35 from angle, and style judge 21 out of 30. So he will have a second run, but a 63. Here's Jhonnattan Castro, who's switched gears, literally and figuratively, and even team. So last year was campaign at 370Z, and now he's on the Papanakis Racing Camp. Meltodon, you can see the Dominican Republic flag on his roof, the DR, and changed quite a bit of things. Different team, different car, different tire, but still the Dominican driver we love, Jhonnattan Castro. All right, here we go, Castro on his first qualifying run, car number 717. Here we go, Castro. Nice job, high on the bank, above those yellow hash marks, throwing a little bit more angle at it. You can see him dipping down, standing on the throttle. You can hear that exhaust note. Listen to that, very consistent, very fluid through the whole course. Castro riding the yellow line, comes off it just there at the end, and a solid run from Jhonnattan Castro.
If you're listening to the vehicle of Jhonnattan Castro, you can really hear the throttle commitment. And as he comes across the center section here, we'll have a couple little notes, but good initiation here. You can see he locks into angle pretty quickly, nice and high on the bank, probably in that 9-point schedule for the line. And then right here, he has a quick lift right as he comes over that center section, and then another lift right there. So just only one little flub. Should probably be on the throttle through the power alley if you can, and then lift right at that inside clip. But overall, a really good run for Jhonnattan Castro. Very impressive for him as he tries to make his way up into the top qualifying position with about 6 or 7 drivers now having scores as we make our way through the field of 32. You
can see Matt Coffman here. And there's a score, thank you, 83 and 83 for Jhonnattan Castro. And that puts him into the number 1 position. So congratulations to him, Castro, with a strong score on his first run. Matt Coffman, Ford V8 under the hood on Falcon tires from the Pacific Northwest. You can see him working it up the bank. Dropping down a little early. Better angle towards that first front clip, but coming off the bank. And there he is coming around that final rear clipping zone. And all the way back, exiting course.
So here's Coffman from run number 1, making his way through the chicane. Really throttling into initiation now. See how he drops down right here and then moves back up. So a little bit of a deduction there for him on the fluidity side of things and possibly the line. Good angle hit through inside clip 1. Nice transition back around. Good on that second inside clip. Like to see him get a little bit deeper here. You see he commits to this section of the zone a little bit late and then comes off just right there on that last section of that turn and then connects back again. So decent run for Coffman, but he'll have one more to go.
Waiting for Coffman's score. We are seeing Justin Pawlak 80 and 80 in that Ford V8 powered. Strong score there for Matt Coffman. Man, watching Justin live on the news this morning, him and Jeff Stoneback ripping around, and Pawlak just seems absolutely possessed right now. The Roush Performance Falcon tires, Ford Mustang. A little bit hesitant there on initiation, but once he gets in it, you can see it. Look at that max angle. Really powering through the power alley. Obviously not as much lift as Von Gittin Jr. as we've seen from the front of his vehicle, but still you can see that thing just absolutely tweaking that brand new Ford Mustang. Roush Performance Ford Mustang, nice job. Walk us through it, Ryan.
Well, here's Justin Pawlak throttling into initiation there. You can see he commits nice and high on the bank. Little bit of fluidity issues there, but pretty strong overall. Now down off the bank right here, nice and tight. Good angle on that first inside clip. Wrapping her back around to that second inside clip. Nice and tight there. And staying real deep on the second outer zone. He locks into it early. Keeps that rear wheel right there all the way through. And great job by JTP.
Ryan, the angle the angle coming off the bank into the flat portion of the track isn't as aggressive as wall, but if you think about it, you go off and slam down and you have to transition and transfer, and then also there's another jump in the middle of the power alley as Justin Pawlak gets an 84.
Justin Pawlak, first place, sitting with an 84. Nice job by him. But yeah, like you're saying, it's not as abrupt as wall, but certainly it becomes a major factor if we do get some weather.
Faruk Kugay, originally from Poland, now residing in San Francisco Bay Area. And here comes Faruk on Achilles radials. A big faint entry there from Faruk. There's our leaderboard as Faruk, consistent smoke. He's really used to this banked setup here. His hometown track, fairly comparable to this as Faruk scrubs some speed, but keeps the angle. You can see him shimming his way all the way across the finish line. And the Achilles radials come to a halt. I shouldn't say come to a halt, but stop smoking at least.
Well, here we go. Faruk opting for that feint. Now, the judges don't care what initiation you take, whether it's straight line, e-brake, or feint, so long as it's smooth and quick rate to angle. Faruk coming off the bank here. You can see trying to stay close on that inside clip. Those 3 hash marks give the judges a little bit of a vision and sight about just how close those drivers are. Faruk does a good job here. Locks into that zone early. Keeps that right rear wheel right on the line. Just goes off a little bit. Maybe get a minor deduction for that, but overall pretty good run for Faruk Kugay.
Yeah, like I said, Faruk from the Bay Area competes in the Golden Gate Drift sanctioning body. Gained his pro license through a Pro-Am, then going to Pro 2, and now with a 79, which puts him into 5th position. So yeah, very similar track to what he's used to up in the Bay Area of Northern California. Juha Rintanen, the new vehicle. We didn't see it at the last round, but now here it is. Another S chassis setup. Here we go. Juha Rintanen debuting a brand new car here at Orlando Speed World. Let's see how he fares. He is flying through the course, using all of the track. Boom, tightening up to that front clip, taking it off the base, off of the hash marks on the second front clipping point. The transition maintains the angle. Man, very fast through the course there, Ryan.
Yeah, a lot of visual speed from Juha's vehicle. Let's take a look at the initiation here. Snaps right into it, right at that second cone. Nice lock right here, deep. He goes a little bit long. The judges really emphasize being careful about not going too long there. And you can see he hits that inside clip kind of weird, and then he goes a little bit wide. He has to get on the throttle to maintain the drift here. He's not able to get into the second outer zone very deeply, and then he crosses the finish line. So a couple mistakes off the bank for Juha and into the power alley and the final wraparound turn, but he'll get a score nonetheless.
And there it is, a 76 for Juha Rintanen, a 76 for Juha. That's Kristaps Bluss, HGK Motorsports, mass-powered V8 from Latvia. Had some issues with his car, not so much his car, but got into the wall yesterday. Had to get his car back together. Kristaps, 8 events overall. He's had 2 top 16s and 6 top 32, so needs to get a score on the board in order to obviously just advance on. Here we go, Kristaps on Achilles radials. You can see him just turning it up just a bit more. Doesn't stay on it too long, Ryan, as you said. In that rear clipping zone, nice, pretty tight on that, about that second tally mark. Have to slow it down or look at it again in the replay to be exact. But a good full pull there from Kristaps on his first go-round, especially given that he sustained some damage and broke some things yesterday.
We've got these red and white cones on the fence line here, and you can see Kristaps initiates very early, just right after the third one. So nice job there. A lot of commitment for that initiation. Big throttle here. You can see him gets off the throttle right here to try to get back online, and he also crosses that first inside clip, a little funky. Then coming across, he gets some angle there, loses a little bit of angle, trying to lock in here, finds the zone about 1/4 of the way in, and then he's able to lock in and stay strong and consistent through that second part of that turn. So overall, good run by Kristaps. Just a couple little flubs, but good impression to the judges here. And we'll see where that locks him in to the top 32.
And there it is, a 75 for Kristaps. Look at that, 29 out of 35 on line, 22 out of 35 on angle, and a 24 out of 30 for style. And Kristaps gets score on the board.
Seen a lot of drivers, come a little bit late off the zone. That yellow line coming off that outer zone is not what you want to be driving. So let's see here, this next driver up.
All right, we got Kenny Mohan, got Bill, Achilles Radial, BMW. Another BMW, another international driver. There you go, coming off at the right time. Look at that, barely just kissing that front clip. Nice job by Kenny. Fast Kenny, number 22, living up to his name. Kenny just standing in it.
Well, Kenny was definitely one to watch at Road Atlanta. He was looking absolutely incredible. One of the quickest drivers we were seeing at Road Atlanta. Here he is in his qualifying run here in Orlando, initiating right at the second cone. Now watch how Kenny comes off the bank here. He's going to do a much better job than what we've seen. He comes off just right at the right time. Big angle right here through that first inside clip. Now coming into the second inside clip. You can see he's right on that second hatch mark. I'd like to see him get into this zone just a tiny bit earlier. You get that tire just a little bit deeper. He comes off a little bit early out of that zone, but only 5 points there for the line score, so won't be hitting him too hard. He hit a lot of high marks on that first big zone from Kenny, so expecting a decent score from him.
And our dialogue is really just, we're splitting hairs here with, again, how approachable this track is. As approachable as this track is, it's we're really splitting hairs. Like you said, you'd like to see him on that outside clipping zone a little sooner, but look at that. And 89, our current leader here in qualifying. So Kenny Mohan, look at that, 31 out of 35, 30 out of 35. So an impressive showing. Pat Mordunt, Drift Paddock, Falcon Tires, Koenig Wheels, 350Z. Let's see Pat Mordunt. Good angle, you can hear him coming off. Ticking the boxes there as far as the front clip, second clip. You can see it knocking it off the base. Base. And Pat using all of that yellow line. You can see an unbroken smoke chain there coming off the back of his 350Z.
Well, Patrick Mordunt has certainly had a really strong resurgence this year. We saw some really great runs from him in Road Atlanta. He's been looking very impressive. He starts off strong here, nice and high on the bank. Good angle, lots of smoke. Comes off right at the right time. Good angle right there on that first inside clip. Good transition back around. Stays locked into that second inside clip and then gets into this second outer zone and just puts that right wheel all the way around on that yellow line and comes off at the perfect time not to hit that last cone, which wouldn't be a deduction, but it's just a nice look at his driving and how much car control that he has.
All right, waiting for the sponsor, waiting for the score. Patrick Mordunt, an 80. An 80 puts him into 5th position. Jeff Stoneback, Stone Cold from the top rope. On Hankook Tires from Pennsylvania, the J Block. Here we go. Like to be stone cold right now because it's hot out here, kids. Jeff Stoneback, nice and settled. You can hear him. RPM's kind of dropping. Good composure. Over the hip and into that second front clip. Kind of a weird engine noise. Didn't know if, kind of saving some there or kind of pedaling it.
Well, Stoneback, you can see 3-2-1 cones right, 1, 2, 3. Gets a little bit of a later initiation, then gets into the bank here. You can see he comes off on a kind of a midline. Good angle on that first inside clip. You can hear him popping off the throttle as he comes across that middle section there. Now another driver not opting to go all the way into that outer zone. You'd like to see drivers get right on that yellow line if they can. And that zone is actually marked by 2 standing cones, one immediately following on the right-hand side after inside clip number 2, and then right at the finish line. And if drivers can fill that full zone, they'll definitely get full points on line for that section of the course.
Yeah, 180 degrees there of that circle, and maxing out the angle there, and a 79 for Stoneback. Hankook Tires, turn 14 distribution from Pennsylvania. All right, so we got Dean Kearney here in the Oracle Lighting Dodge Viper on Achilles radials, and it's great to see him back out here, and he's just a very tenacious driver, fun-loving gentleman. Had some bad luck yesterday, but you know what? Boom, team worked hard. The car's back out here. Even caught a fish yesterday. Maybe brings him a little bit of good luck. So a lot of these drivers on Instagram and Snapchat, be sure to follow Formula Drift at Formula D. If you're here in the building, they can watch FormulaD.com, watch the live stream every round of competition, as well as on CBS Sports. Here we go. Dean Kearney, Oracle Lighting, Dodge Viper, Achilles radials. SRT10 Dodge Viper banging away. On the front clip. Lifting a little bit. But as Ryan, the acceleration and deceleration map that the judges kind of laid out for the drivers, where again was the acceleration and deceleration? Maybe, you know, utilizing this replay show where the judges are allowing some deceleration.
Of course, there's going to be a little bit of a deceleration on initiation. They want to see a lot of acceleration here. You can see Dean dropping down and then going back up the bank, so definitely going to be a little bit of deduction on the line score. Now coming through here, you should be
Los Angeles, California, in the Dock turbocharged LS S14. All right, so everybody throwing up a score right now outside of Pat Goodin. And here we go. Good job, Jones. Yeah, getting into that wall a little bit. Up close and personal. Oh, and a correction, a big correction. Coming off that bank, that will be a 0 for Jeff Jones. All right, so Jones exiting the track, and unfortunately for him, that will be a 0. As I just mentioned that. On the other driver, Pat Goodin. With only 32 drivers, just get a score on the board, and you'll be in tomorrow's main event. Next driver, Ryan Tuerck, who won this event last year. Just a wacky turn of events, you know. I mean, just as far as, you know, it was rainy, it was wet, it was slippery. We saw 2 cars catch on fire, but he'd love to win it in just a grand fashion this year. Brand new livery and sponsor for him this year, the Gum Out Hankook Tires, Nameless Performance, car number 411, 2JZ powered. SR by Toyota 86 with the transition of Toyota kind of refolding the Scion brand back into the Toyota family. And here we go. Ryan Tuerck, 2JZ power, throwing it in. The 1552 wheels go around with Hankook tire rubber on the corners. Good angle. Look at that, even with bouncing around, maintains that angle. The bronzish custom wheels, way over that yellow line. But again, it bears repeating. Not a deduct. I mean, you know, they're not going to award points, but not as large a deduction or a definitive 0 like last year with 2 wheels off, Ryan. Real
solid run here by Ryan Tuerck, and as you take a listen to his throttle control, you can see he's basically mashing the throttle through this section of the bank. He comes off at the perfect time. Now watch the angle here on inside clip 1. Great job there. Throttle through that section. A little bit of a lift here, and right back on throttle, and then watch how early he gets into this second outer zone. Locks in, he goes, just drops the tire just a tiny bit. Small infraction there, if anything at all. The judges have really said and emphasized not to be too worried about that. If the car lifts and looks like it goes way up on the bank, then yes, then there could be a deduction. But for Ryan Tuerck, this is a pretty solid run here. Should put him well positioned for the top 32.
And an 86. the SR by Toyota 86, receiving the score with the badge that's on the card. 86 for Ryan Tuerck, puts him into second position. All right, we are clear to send. Mad Mike Whiddett warming up his Nitto tires. As Mad Mike Whiddett, overall 13 events in the Formula Drift Championship from previous seasons to now. Competed back in the 2010 season, Ryan?
Yeah, and talking to Mike at Ebisu, you know, one of the things that he was a takeaway from Ebisu is he said, you know, I'm going to put the settings of my RX-7 into my vehicle in the States because I felt so comfortable with those settings that I think if I did that here, I'll feel as comfortable in that vehicle as I do in this vehicle, and I think that would make a big difference. Yeah, you're referencing, for those fans that didn't watch it, Formula Drift Japan. He won Ebisu just a few weeks ago, and it was just such a dynamic performance, and right now it looks like he is back to where he wants to be in that Humble, the quad rotor twin turbo MX-5 with a Red Bull on the side and the Kiwi Heart behind the wheel. Taking out those front clipping points, you can hear him banging away on the wankles. Slapping it big time, make some noise from Mad Mike Whiddett. Rotating clan. Well, everyone loves Mike, and you can see why here. Just a very aggressive full throttle driver into initiation here. Nice and high on the bank. He locks into that line early, stays on it, comes off the bank perfect here. Throttles through this section, good angle on inside clip 1. Lifts at the right time, gets back on it, just barely nicks. Now he throws a little bit of angle into the car, so lacking a little bit of the fluidity, but just a very, very small, minor criticism there. But overall, a solid run for Mad Mike Whiddett, and very impressive here for run number 1. All right, waiting for Mad Mike Whiddett, and like you said, that the Humble, as he calls it, he has all these different bulls and in his stable, but Humble is the FDRX-7 that he competes with in Japan, produced by Magic, and a score of 83 and 83 for Mad Mike Whiddett slides him into 5th qualifying position. All right, so Matt Field, the beast from the Bay, a fierce, aggressive driver, showing a lot of personality, call it what it is, in Atlanta. Looked like he was the guy to beat, and emotions kind of got the best of him, got really aggressive against Faruk, and kind of took himself out there. So, but looking for big things from him. Look at that, throwing it to big angle. The smoke is pluming off the back. Nice job, the Falcon tires are ablaze. Matrix Casino, Black Track Performance, Vortex Supercharger sticking out of the carbon fiber hood of Savon and bringing it all the way home. Nice job by the lead caveman there of his own shop called Drift Cave. Well, this is quintessential Matt Field here. Full throttle all the way, 100% commitment all the way. Real aggressive initiation, locks in, full throttle here. You can see that right wheel lifting off the surface, and a nice transition here from inside clip 1 to inside clip 2. Very tight there, locks into the zone pretty early. Stays on at that right wheel, driving all the way around. Great angle here by Matt. Solid run for Matt Field, and run number 1. Yeah, he's just he's a fun driver to watch. It's kind of all or nothing with him, man. And like I said, he seemed like the guy to beat, and he goes against Faruk, who coincidentally transports his car, and he had to, he had to transport his vehicle to here, and man, got the best of him there in Atlanta. Look at that. Matt Field with a score of a 90 puts him into number 1 position. So that impact, the initiation, and just the fluidity. Obviously, look at that. 32, 31, and 27. So 32 out of 35 points. The angle, 31 to 35, and style, 27 out of 30. So commitment, getting a perfect score there, 10 out of 10. Ken Gushi. Here's the Goosh, Ken Gushi here in the Greddy Nexon Tire SR by Toyota 86. The Goosh is loose. You can see our current standings. Field, Mohan, Tuerck, Pawlak, Castro. Where is Gushi going to land? Very settled, great angle, coming off the bank. Look at those front wheels. Just very poised, very fluid. Nice job. Look at this. I mean, the front wheels are hardly moving, Ryan. I mean, they are just pointed in and absolutely dialed, and absolutely just
almost poetic run there.
Yeah, a very smooth and fluid run by Ken Gushi here. Let's take a look at this again. You can see he initiates just right at that second cone. Perfect. Locks right into angle. Nice and high on the bank. Big smoke cloud here. Now watch where he comes off the bank. Comes off nice and perfect. He's able to keep good angle on inside clip 1. Little off right there on the throttle, but then gets right back on it. So that's kind of what the judges expect as you come across the power alley, then locks in here to this last outer zone. Perfect across the finish line. So good fluid run by Ken Gushi.
Unbelievable run. I mean, it wasn't like the snappiest, but just absolutely just ice skating through the course. Great run by Gush. Where will that land him? Again, 90 is the score to beat there with Matt Field. And an 89, so just outside, but you can see, 90, 89, that puts him into third. So a 32 out of 35, you can see angle. So missing 5 points there, but and 1 point in the initiation, fluidity, and commitment. So our next driver was to be that of, taking a look, it should be Alec Honadell. Alec Honadell, a local Floridian driver in Juku Racing, Gitnuts Laboratory, V8 powered S14, and Alec Honadell is a no-show.
Just hearing over the radio some discussion. It does sound like that Alec Honadell, unfortunately, on a Friday, you don't want to have to do this, but does call a competition timeout, not to sacrifice. I'm really surprised that they would choose to do that, given that there's 32 drivers. But his team will obviously make the decision of what he feels best. But you'd think that maybe with a driver the level of Alec, he'd be able to get it done in one run. So unfortunately for him, he will not have a competition timeout going into Saturday, and we will move on to the next driver.
Yeah, I'm surprised by that. He has another run. Why would you use it? I mean, I'm just as startled as you. So Alec will call his competition timeout. Maybe we'll see him after Michael Essa's run. Michael Essa in the loudmouth exhaust Achilles radial BMW. A former champion in a BMW, had a different vehicle last year, and now back behind the wheel of the vehicle that took him to the championship, but definitely reworked from the condition or the engine or everything. Just completely going through the car in the off season and seeming to be a lot more comfortable behind the wheel of this trusty steed. Operates his own shop, Essa Autosports, Southern California. Let's see how Essa does. You can see our standings. We got 90, 89, 86, 84. The loudmouth exhaust, Achilles radial BMW. All right, just to clarify, Ryan, we are hearing that, like we said, kind of inquisitive there. Alec Honadell did not call his competition timeout, so he still does have that. He just forfeited his first run, so he will have a go on a second. Right now, it's all about Essa on track, and he is high on the bank. Drops down, man, flying into that first front clip through the power alley. Look at that, really staying on throttle past that second front clip and powering through that second outer zone. Nice job by Essa, screeching to a halt and absolutely filling this OSW facility with smoke.
Well, Essa having a really strong performance in the Super Drift event at Long Beach, trying to replicate that here. Looking really good in that BMW, nice and high on the bank. Big throttle on the bank, comes through that first inside clip. Looking very solid through the power alley here. Nice movement on that second inside clip. Just a little bit off that second outer zone. But overall, a good run right there by Michael Essa.
All right, Michael Essa looks like he's the ghost of Drift Pass there. An 89 for Michael Essa, an 89 for the loudmouth exhaust Achilles radial BMW. Okay, so it looks like we are seeing the vehicle of Gitnuts Laboratory Zone, Forrest Wang. Gitnuts Laboratory Hankook tires, 2JZ power, Sylvie S15, stance suspension, 2F Performance, a Super Doof body kit. Ray's factory wing, a signature wing. Ray works at his shop. Definitely some cool, stylish wings there. Styles for miles here from Forrest Wang. We'll see if that will, traditionally a lot of smoke comes off the back end of that vehicle, courtesy of the Hankook tires, and just the max angle that, that Forrest Wang gets. Let's see how he fares here in Orlando. Quick little flick of the wrist. Look at that, just absolutely the back half covered with Hankook tire smoke. He's getting nuts. Look out, kids. Dropping that 2F Performance Super Doof body kit. Look at that maxed out angle. Woo! Really fun run to watch there from Forrest Wang.
And one of the funnest drivers to watch in the series. He's got so much talent. You can see right here into initiation, he locks in to big throttle here, stays on it. Massive smoke cloud by Forrest Wang. Just rubbing that wing right up against the guard railing there. Comes off, drops the bumper. Great throttle control through the power alley. Lifts in the right spot, gets right back on the throttle. Locks into this outer zone here. Nice and deep. Big angle by Forrest and just a lot of smoothness and fluidity through this entire course. Great job right there.
And just with the invasion of the V8s over the years, he's kind of coined the V-hate thing. But, you know, obviously, all's fair in love and war. And he's been campaigning the 2JZ under the hood. He's been running some BC internals, the Brian Crower internals, a stroker kit on his vehicle, high horsepower 2JZ. And with the Aloha race suit, he says Aloha to a 90 and second place in qualifying. Forrest Wang, you can see that Hawaiian shirt, kitted out race suit. With a 90, puts him into second position, and just after Matt Field there. And basically there's a whole protocol as far as what it's based off of and why he's second as opposed to Matt Field being first. Tyler the Rock Mcquarrie, man, this guy has had a steering wheel more in his hand than he hasn't. He's been piling everything, just coming fresh off of some Baja 500 as that's going on this weekend. He's doing stadium super trucks. He's doing road racing. This is one busy, not only racer, but also a father as well. So in the Mobil 1 Safecraft racing equipment, Falcon tires, GoPro on the hood. And here he goes, running BC as well. He's knocking over that cone there at the start. Here comes Tyler, the Rock Mcquarrie from Danville, California. Shredding that back bumper skin once again. He did that in practice, and he's doing it once again here in qualifying. Close to that front clip. Good transition. Falcon tires. Evidence in the air. You can hear him off and on a little bit. But regardless of the engine sound, putting the car where it needed to be, Ryan.
Yeah, really enjoying this run here from Tyler Mcquarrie. A lot of commitment all the way through as he comes through the chicane. You can hear him mashing the throttle into initiation, and right there he sets the vehicle, gets it into motion, stays nice and high on the bank. Good fluidity on the bank here. Comes off just at the right time, manages the bump properly, maintains good angle through inside clip 1, wraps around inside clip 2, hits it perfectly, and gets into the outer zone. Right here, stays locked in. Big smoke cloud by Tyler. Solid run there by Tyler Mcquarrie.
Let's see where Tyler lands here as far as his score. And a 91 slides him into our #1 spot. So Tyler the Rock Mcquarrie rises to the occasion here in Orlando. Mobil 1, he's currently got that #1 position. Turn 14 distribution, former Formula Drift champion, another Falcon tire driver, Daijiro Yoshihara. Crawling and shimming his way through the bank. We saw him on the podium in Atlanta. I know he wants to get back up there, but can he do it? Can he show up here in Orlando? Switching his car from left-hand drive to right-hand drive in the off-season.
So as you said, Dai trying to follow up that performance at Road Atlanta. Coming into initiation here, you can see it. I think he plays a little tap with the wall right here. Gets him a little bit out of whack. May have tapped it twice. Now coming off the bank, moving through the power alley. He's going to make a little tiny flub right here. You can see just on the front wheels just for a second there. Now trying to find an area to lock into this last outer zone. Wrapping around is Daijiro Yoshihara. We'll see where that puts him into the top 32.
And just to clarify, as far as the tiebreaker, and I talked about, you know, why one driver, they might have the same score, but the first tiebreaker is angle, and then it defaults to line, and then it goes through, you know, all the different criteria. But if they're tied, it defers to angle, then to line, and then you start getting to others. Chris, the Forrest Forsberg two-time Formula Drift champion, is up, and there's a 91 for Dai Yoshihara, which slides him into second. So you can see angle there, a 33 out of 35. Chris Forsberg, NOS Energy Drink 370Z on hand-cooked tires. The Voodoo 13 USA angle kit, designed and developed by his team, now being utilized by a few different teams, including the CFR-operated Jeff Stoneback's vehicle, Robbie Nishida, even Daigo Saito running it across the pond. Here we go. Chris Forsberg. Throwing it in, kind of a slow roll into that initiation. Definitely has the angle, comes off the wall. Through the power rally. You can hear his exhaust note as far as lifting a bit there and then standing back on the throttle. Not the quickest vehicle by comparison to some of the other vehicles. What a strong performance by the two-time champ.
Well, Forsberg, another driver trying to back up that performance from Road Atlanta, gets into initiation, locks into his line here. You'd like to see him get up a little bit higher on that bank. You can hear a tiny lift right there coming off that into that first inside clip. Nice movement across here, settling into that second inside clip is Chris Forsberg very early into that outer zone. A big difference there from what we've seen from other drivers, and he stays consistent all the way through is Chris Forsberg.
All right, let's see how Forsberg fares here. Like I said, not the fastest by comparison, but look at that, a 92 from Forsberg, a 31 out of 35, 33 out of 35, and a 28 out of 30 for style.
So you definitely see, you got a little bit of deduction on line, but made it up in angle there.
Right.
So we have a really heavily weighted bank where Forsberg was able to make up some points, even though he wasn't fully deep into that zone. He was able to make it up with the angle points, and so good job by him.
Yeah, because, you know, like we said, the angle judge and line judge, some were heavy on the bank and heavy on you know, light on the power alley, and then the other judge was light on the bank and heavy in the power alley. So Forsberg really kind of massaging his driving to what the judges are requesting. Here we go, Fredric Aasbo at Rockstar Engineering Scion the SR by Toyota TC on Nexen tires. Looking strong right now, look at that. 4-cylinder turbo, talking about coming to this round, some custom billet parts that the Papadakis Racing Camp has made. They've, you know, been popping engines here and there, but thrashed to get them back on course.
Well, walk through the park here for Fredric Aasbo. Snappy transition, locks into that line. Good angle here. Very, very high on that bank. Great job there. Comes off at the right time. Now, good angle right there through that first inside clip. A lot of points there for angle. And again, right here on that second inside clip. As he wraps into this last turn here, you can see he keeps that back bumper just slightly inside that yellow line. And then good, smooth fluidity through the finish line for Fredric Aasbo. So expecting a high score for him here in run number 1.
All right, waiting for Aasbo's run here, or Aasbo's score, excuse me. We are in the top 3 now. Current score for Odi, or not Odi, Odi's up next, but that's Aasbo with a 92. So look at that, Ryan. You're seeing that 34. So strong for Aasbo in line. You know, 4 points, and we're talking 1 and 4 points there.
It was like the opposite of Forsberg. Forsberg got him on angle, Aasbo got him on line.
Right. Good observation there. Odi Bakchis. He's a driver that's again really consistent on his game, and right now he's just driving with an aggressiveness that I think is the missing factor from him from last year to this year, and that ARC Performance Falcon tires, field suspension, Hyundai Genesis Coupe. You can see some shimming, those bright green drifts wheels, DRIFZ. We're going to be giving away a set of those, so stay tuned for details. Nice job there by Odi Bakchis. So yeah, those bright wheels, drifts. Hardcore wheels for the street. We're going to be giving away a set of those.
Odi Bakchis definitely a very calculated driver, knows what he's doing out there, an incredible tandem driver. Let's see what he can do here in qualifying. Nice and high on the bank. Look at that, super close there. Bit of an e-brake pull. Judges really talked about trying not to do that. And comes through this power alley here. He gets a little bit out of whack, and he goes a little bit long on that second inside flip. Very, very minor flubs for Odi, but overall decent run there. Lifts that right rear tire just slightly up the bank on that last section of the course. So we'll see how the judges treat that as Odi Bakchis puts run number 1 in the books.
All right, so Odi Bakchis awaiting his score as we'll be getting into the top 3 drivers, Chelsea Denofa and that of Vaughn Gittin Jr. So Odi Bakchis with a 90. I mean, look at that, Ryan. A score of 90, and that puts him into 7th place position. So, again, 33, 31, 26 out of 30. And, again, as we are getting into, again, our top 2 drivers. And we are not seeing Chelsea Denofa right now. Right now, it's Vaughn Gittin Jr. All right. So we have Vaughn Gittin Jr. pulling to the line. Vaughn Gittin Jr. pulling to the line here for his first qualifying run. Ryan, we're not seeing Chelsea Denofa.
Yeah, unfortunately, it looks like he is going to miss run number 1, so hopefully everything's okay with Chelsea. But sadly for him, he will only have 1 opportunity to make it to the top 32, and you hope he'll be able to get it done.
All right, here comes Vaughn Gittin Jr. Let's see if he can, look at that, lifting that wheel again. That's just become his signature move. Just dipping the toe in it. The Nitto tires blazing through the course. Standing on the throttle, absolutely putting it through the floor. RTR ready to rock. The Monster Energy Nitto tire. Ford Mustang RTR, our current Formula Drift points leader of Vaughn Gittin Jr.
Well, in talking to Vaughn, you know, we were saying that he definitely looks very 2010-ish when he won his first championship, where the guy can just do no wrong, and he starts off here in his first run of qualifying looking very solid and consistent. Big throttle, big angle through inside clip number 1, does the bank perfectly, nice and tight on the second inside clip. All the way around this last outer zone, he stays right on that yellow line, very consistent, going to be a very high score, could be shooting for first place here, and a nice solid start for Vaughn Gittin Jr. Well, in talking to Vaughn, you know, we were saying that he definitely looks very 2010-ish when he won his first championship.
So that completes all the drivers. Oh, look at that, a 95, a near perfect score for Vaughn Gittin Jr. That Monster Energy Nitto tire Mustang RT leader, just having an air of confidence, comes in almost near perfect, just 5 points left on the track. You can see that line missing near perfect and style near perfect. So as again, we talked about the tiebreaker. If you have the same score, it's actually style. Style is the first tiebreaker, then it goes to angle and line. So we have concluded our first qualifying run for our 32 drivers, but obviously we didn't see Alec, we didn't see Chelsea Denofa, and we saw a couple zeros. So as long as you get a score, you're going to be in the show. Welcome. Welcome back as we are ripping and tearing here into our second run with Robbie Nishida pulling to the start line. Again, beginning our second qualifying run. Robbie Nishida. About to throw down some rubber and raise a stink here at Orlando Speed World. as we're throwing some, taking some bites out of some protein here and gonna keep it going on here in the track, as you gotta keep your nourishment alive and well. Seeing Nishida here, got issue here with his vehicle, the G37. All right, Robbie Nishida on the line. What's going on here? All right, looks like one of our camera ops. All right. Blackview over the cloud. If you haven't downloaded the app yet, Blackview C, you can't miss it. You can see the Blackview logo there. Download the app and you can go on car over the cloud. It's really cool. So we'll be activating those throughout the weekend. But Robbie Nishida, unfortunately, looks like he's going to be retiring. He does have a score in the books. We'll see if he's retiring or if he's just dust in the wind here. Andrew Gray, Real Street Power Vehicles, Achilles Radial JZX 100. Originally from Scotland, now living in Japan, operating a few vehicles here for different drivers all across the globe. As Andrew Gray crawling into that initiation, now pouring it on. Whoa, shimming. Getting a little bit nervous there, hanging that big Wang over the wall. Taking out that front clip. Wow, 1, 2. Taking him out like Pac-Man here. Quite a bit of distance off of that second outer zone, the final zone, and bringing it on home. There is Gray.
So Andrew Gray in run number 2, still struggling a little bit here to find his comfort zone. Not able to get super deep into that zone. Like to see him get a little bit more angle there from the onside. You can see he comes off a little bit wonky, hits that first inside clip, does the same on the second one here, and then really the big thing is he's not able to get deep into this last outer zone here until way late. So Andrew Gray will make it into the top 32. We'll see if he betters his score from run number 1.
And here comes Andrew Gray's score. A 74. 74 puts him into 26th position, as his second run is better than his first. So he just better just a little bit. Here comes Charles Ng. Sogun, Achilles Radial, Team Orange, S14. You can see our leaderboard right now getting up top of that 95. Are we going to see a perfect run? I mean, this is a perfect storm to really see somebody put down a 100-point run. We haven't seen one of those in, man, it's been a couple of years. Here we go. Ng with an 81 on his first score. Can he better it? Charles Ng looking strong. He needs to drive this car the rest of the year the way he's driving this thing. Good job through the power alley. Consistent smoke, meaning just standing on the throttle. Yeah, Charles dipping right now. Solid run there by Charles Ng.
So Charles Ng continuing to impress here. Not too many things to critique as he comes into initiation here. If you listen to the sound of the vehicle, listen to the like to see him stay locked into that throttle as much as you possibly can all the way through. Hits that first inside clip, wrapping it back around to that second inside clip. Now enters the last outer zone here. And nice job right there. Almost the tire coming off there. Very low tire pressure by Charles Ng, but a solid follow-up run by him.
What engine noise was that exactly that you're making? What can you?
You didn't like my impression?
I mean, I think Mad Mike is known to do some great engine sounds.
His is the.
Yeah. Sweet as, brew. Sweet as for an 89. Charles Ng does better his score. 89 for Charles Ng. He betters his first score of an 81. Cameron Moore, give me some mo. There we go, nameless performance, Falcon Tires. SC, Soar, whatever you want to call it. Cameron Moore. See if Moore can better his first score. Right now he's looking strong at 77. He takes out that his first score is 77. Good angle, maxing it out. Breaking it up, breaking it down. Cameron Moore. What kind of engine noise are we dealing with there, Ryan?
This is like a into initiation is Cameron Moore here. You can see it on the bank, just off throttle, on throttle a little bit, but very, very smooth and consistent coming off the bank. Good angle right there on inside clip number 1. Able to make his way through the power alley here, just a little bit tight on that second inside clip. And then finally getting into this last outer zone about halfway through, so we'll lose a little bit of points on line there, but a good follow-up by Cameron Moore.
Does he better 77? And no, he does not. A 75 on a second run. Still a strong showing and puts him into 21st position. So this is a driver that's, I wouldn't say on the bubble, because all he has to do is get a score. He's from right here in Florida, and he needs to get a score on the board. He's sitting on a 0 in the ISR BC Racing Hoonigan Falcon Tires Supercharged V8 S13. When he came off that bank, you saw him bounce around. He spun out and wrapping it around that second front clip. So he needs to take a deep breath and do it for Donna. Donna is his mom, as he would do it for Dale as well. 3 ever, man. Do it for Dale. Here we go, King of Spring Break. Pat Goodin. See if he can hold that title, hold the crown. Hold on to the scepter. All right, here we go. See if he's good enough to get in. Pat Goodin. Man, you can see that front right wheel locked up. Bringing it down. You lock it up. Oh, way off that second clip. You almost sense some tension there, some potential nerves just getting the best of him, but powers through it. Not the cleanest run, but a run nonetheless, Ryan.
Yeah, Pat Goodin sitting on that 0 after run number 1, just needing to make it through the course without a 0, and he'll do just that. You can see he needs to be a little bit higher on the bank here. We'll definitely have some pointers and some things to look at as he makes his way into tandem tomorrow. Right here, gets a little bit sketchy for a second, is able to hang on to it. Wrapping back around this last outer zone here, and right about here, he's doing a...
So we're moving on to kind of drivers' reactions.
We're not moving on to, we're adding it.
Oh, okay.
Bringing it into
another piece of flair to the sound effect folly team of Ryan and Jared. Beep, 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 beep. Oh, man, this should be a good one. I want to hear oh, here we go. So a 62, so 29th place for the King of Spring Break. Looking more of Game of Thrones right now there for Pat Goodin. What family would he be in if he was Game of Thrones?
He looks a lot
He'd
like
be on the wall.
No, he's a wildling for sure.
Oh, he's a wildling?
Yeah, the main wildling.
He's the main wildling.
Yeah.
Wow, you give him that deal.
Tormund.
Yeah. There you go. Nice for all you Game of Thrones nerds out there. Oh man, and then I can't wait for the engine noise folly of Kyle the Menace Mohan out of Ryan Sagi's mouth, aka Ryan Sage. The GT Radial MX-5 of Kyle the Menace Mohan. Mazda Tricks built Long Beach, California. The Menace, gotta say, liking the performance of this vehicle. And here we go, Kyle Mohan coming into initiation. Yeah, standing on it. Look at that. Using all the wankles, dude. All 20B, all 3 of them. Yeah, brap. All the way through into that second outer zone. What kind of things were going through Kyle's head there?
Well, we were definitely having a little bit of fun here, talking about the way the drivers control their throttle. But listen to Kyle Mohan here. As soon as he gets into initiation, he locks into it and stays on throttle the entire time. No lifting, just pure throttle. A little bit of a lift right there, then comes off the bank. Great job right there on that inside clip. Good job back around. Keeps angle in the car as he comes nice and tight on that second inside clip. And then he gets into that zone super early. Stays deep. Comes off a little tiny bit early, but this is a great run by Kyle. Good follow-up from him on run number 2.
Whew, he says, that was a good one. It's a good one, Kyle. That's what he said. That was his inner monologue. Scores are in. Kyle Mohan, second run, an 83. Puts him into 16th place. So he betters his score from a 70 to an 83. Great showing there from Mohan. Next up, Alex Hilbrun. Right, we talked about it. Just a really dominant performance last year in Pro 2. Right now, definitely needs to step it up. We'll see how he does. Nitto Tire. Calls it the Monster BMW. Whoa. Not what the judges are looking for. And that will be a 0 for Alex Hilbrun, the IMR Racing. Nitto Tire, BMW, comes to a halt. All right, so Alex Hilbrun is in the game, in the big show for tomorrow, but unfortunately messes up on a second run. Jhonnattan Castro, a great first run. Really liked what he had to show. Now you wonder if he's going to step it up even more. One more run here for Castro, warming up those Nexen tires. So Castro warming him up, pulling to the line. What's Castro got here? We'll see if he can bring it home for his Betty back at home and his baby. Here we go. Castro initiating. Listen to that exhaust note. Nice job from Castro so far. Sprung through the second outer zone. Yeah, Jhonnattan Castro putting it down for the Nexen Tire Papadakis Racing.
We're continuing to be impressed by Jhonnattan Castro here, especially in the commitment category. You can see a little bit of a tiny flub right there on initiation into that first section of the zone, but after that, full throttle all the way through. Just gets off it there for a second. Nice job on that inside clip. Nice job through the power alley there, nice and tight on that second inside clip, and then another driver getting into that zone very early. Comes off a little bit early as well, but overall, Jhonnattan Castro continuing to improve here run by run. And we'll see where that puts him into the top 32. He's already got a score.
All right, scores are in. And an 86, an 86. Puts him into 13th and 86.
Hey, ask those guys, any idea why some of the driver photos are pixelated and some are not?
All right, Matt Coffman. This machine was built for war. It says it on the wing. We'll see if he can stick that wing to the wall. Almost fighter pilot influenced livery with the iconic colors of the baby blue and orange of the Gulf. So old meets new. With a young driver, a young gun. Nice job there. On the wall, slam it down. Over the jump, taking out that second front clip. And through that second outer zone, Ryan.
Well, maybe not the overall consistency that you're looking for, but certainly that boy does love throttle, and you can see here as he starts off blasting through the chicane, gets right on it, locks the throttle in. Big angle here, comes off the zone just a tiny bit early, wraps into this first inside clip, nice angle there. Now sweeping through, great job on that second inside clip, just grazing it a tiny bit, trying to find his line here. Solid approach here on the finish by Matt Coffman, wrapping all the way around to the finish line. We'll see where that puts him into the top 32 and if he betters run number 1.
Put him in a Coffman. See where he's at as we are seeing the loud and proud Roush Performance Falcon Tires Ford Mustang of JTP pull to the line, and Coffman receives an 84. He does better his first run by 4 points, put him into 15th position. All right, here we go. JTP, Justin Pawlak, Lucas Oil Lubricants running through the veins. Yeah, there we go. Him and his wife and family enjoying all things here in the United States this year, as they are traveling across the country on this adventure to becoming a Formula Drift champion. A nice run there by JTP, Justin Pawlak. Let's take a look at it again, Ryan.
Well, Justin Pawlak certainly capable of a number 1 qualifying position. He's done that in the past. Good aggressive start here, nice and high on the bank, great angle, comes off right at the right time. Smooth through that first inside clip with good angle, and he puts a big angle in the car right there. Then he has to correct, reduce the angle in the vehicle, so a tiny bit of a correction there. But then on this outer zone, locked in all the way through, right on the yellow line. Nice job by JTP.
Yeah, like I said, Sandra and Sandra's his wife, and then his son Jackson, and they're taking a trip across the country while they're going across the country for Formula Drift and experiencing all that this great country has to offer. It's pretty cool. It's quite cool to make some memories with your little one. So kudos to him and his family. All right, let's see where JTP, Justin Pawlak lands. The Roush Performance Falcon Tires, Lucas Oil, Weld Racing Wheels, Ford Mustang. 90. Look at that. A score of 90 gets him 9th, which is crazy. So a 90 for JTP, Justin Pawlak. Juha Rintanen, Achilles Radial, STR Wheels, S15. Blazing fast through the course on his first run. Can he back that up? Oh, you can see some shredding some body parts there from Juha. Whoa, getting squirrely. Rintanen with a 76 on his first run. Ryan, is that better than a 76?
So his maiden voyage in this new vehicle here in Orlando. Starting off right here, slight hiccup on initiation into the first section of that, and then you can see right here it makes contact with the wall, shreds a little bit of the bumper there. Big angle as he goes way long on that first inside clip right there. Another section where he had some big angle and had to reduce it, similar to JTP. So a couple flubs here from Juha, but you can just tell he's a very aggressive driver, very fun to watch, great tandem driver, and certainly into the top 32. We'll see if he betters this run number 1.
All right, scores are in. And Juha with a 77, so he betters it by 1 point, puts him into 22nd position. Kristaps Bluss warming him up. HGK. Samsonos, Achilles Radial, Wisefab, BMW.
So is that enough? Well, I want to get so fast at the end, but like 45 minutes earlier.
Kristaps Bluss. You can see he's sitting in 25th right now. Mid-70s score. Here we go, Kristaps. Little hiccup, then throws it in. Nice job. Kristaps slamming down. He, you could see him leaving that outside clipping zone earlier than he did on his first run. Now riding that yellow line. Nice job. Great second run there from Kristaps. Ryan, the straightforward track is really going to make, I think, for some exciting runs tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's one of those tracks where you certainly are, in dry conditions, are going to see some awesome tandem. We're already seeing some really good runs in qualifying here as Kristaps Bluss brings in his second run, or second attempt here. Trying to better his first score. Very aggressive driver. Making a couple mistakes on initiation and a little bit late into this zone here, but overall he'll be into the top 32. See where that positions him into the tandem bracket, which is very important with this very, very high-level field of drivers here. Even battles in the top 32 can go any which way. So,
yeah. So he betters it with just a few points, 77. 77. So with every go-round, you can see a lot of the drivers consistently gaining some more confidence, getting used to the track. Because of our Florida stop and only being here at Orlando, there's our second year. By comparison to Atlanta, where we've been there for 13 years, you have some drivers that have a bit of an advantage because they've been around it quite a few more times. But with Orlando, not the case. It's only our second year. So with its straightforward approach, a lot of these pro drivers and even Pro 2 drivers are familiar with this Roval type setup, but not so much seat time here at Orlando compared to some of the other tracks. So it's anybody's game. Who can get the composure, who can get dialed, who can get settled. Here we go. Fast Kenny, got Bill, Achilles Radial, BMW, E46. Slide into it. Nice. Listen to that note. Lifted just a bit there. Takes out that front clip. Damn, Kenny back at it again with the white BMW.
if you go back to the A-cell, D-cell map and you were to draw an acceleration, deceleration for Kenny Mohan, it would probably mimic that map almost directly, almost exactly. He's off throttle all the way through here. Throttle, 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 throttle. Does not lift, even through this section of the course. Lifts right there for a second, then boom, right back on it. Kenny Mohan, just great throttle control. Makes a couple mistakes on the line here, but overall, I mean, so fun to watch. He's super fast. Just a beautiful driver. Great job there by Kenny Mohan.
Yeah, you're a fan of his, huh? You think he's a beautiful driver?
You know what I mean.
Was he like, oh, did I impress you? That was my Kenny Mohan accent. My Norwegian.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kenny, a great guy. Had some fun with him at Got Bill previous years. And 89 for Kenny Mohan. That Got Bill Achilles Radial BMW. All right, we are clear to send Patrick Mordunt. Patrick Mordunt, Falcon Tires, Drift Paddock, Koenig Wheels, Brian Crowder, Safecraft, 350Z. Yeah, Pat Mordunt blending into that wall. We are blending. Woo! Hitting switches over that patchwork. As Pat Mordunt brings it on home, the awesome possum. You can see that broken taillight there.
Just continually being impressed by Patrick Mordunt, progressing round by round, run by run. Another solid take here at Orlando Speed World. Quick initiation, gets right into it, locks into it, stays really high on the bank, comes off onto that first inside clip, hits right on that second hash mark, super tight across that second inside clip, and gets pretty early into this last outer zone here and then stays locked in. I mean, not a lot to critique here by Patrick Mordunt. Solid second pass by him, and we'll see if that will better his first score. And I have to imagine that it would, even though he had a really good score on run number one. But now it's all about where you fit into the bracket. And 7 points higher than run number one. Patrick Mordunt slotting into the 14th position.
All right, so we are seeing Jeff Stone back. All right, go ahead. Go and throw it out there, Stone Cold. Stoneback throws it in. The red Z of Stoneback, good transition. Now hammering down on, as far as consistency, seemed a lot more consistent, a lot more fluid than his first run. Good job there for Stoneback.
So Stoneback on the second part of the run, real solid on the first. You can see he drops down on the bank for a second. Now he makes his way back up, trying to find a good line here. So he'll definitely lose some line points on the bank. Now coming through the power alley here. Stays composed, nice and tight on that inside clip. Tries to get into the zone early. Able to get right there, just inside that yellow line. And then a lot of throttle all the way through. So great job by Jeff Stoneback. Trying to better run number one. See what the judges think about that score or that run by Jeff Stoneback.
Stoneback awaits a score. And he does better it. So it goes from a 79 to an 82 as he is qualifying 20th position right now. Dean Kearney had a 74 on his first run, a 74 on the Oracle Lighting Dodge Viper on Achilles radials. 74. All right, so ready to make some noise? Is Dean Kearney. All right, what do we got here from Dean? In the lone Dodge Viper here in competition. Yes, sir. See him a quick yank of the brake. And around that second front flip through. Man, seemed a little fired up there. Dean Kearney.
Well, the full 10 points for initiation in terms of where you can initiate is at the second standing cone. Dean goes even further than that at the third standing cone, very early there. Doesn't quite get the line that he wants on the bank as he comes off the bank. Suspension compresses there, back around here to this second inside clip. Puts a little angle in the car, but not able to get the right line. Like to see him get a little bit deeper there into that last outer zone all the way through. But blazing through the finish line is Dean Kearney trying to better a 74.
All right. And the scores are in. What do we got? An 82, so he betters it considerably, jumping him up to 21st. We're seeing some pretty big scores here, Ryan. This is Jeff Jones. Jeff Jones now on Nexen tire. The Doc BC turbocharged V8. So Jeff Jones is one of those gentlemen that needs to get a score. There we go. Nice job by Jones. Look at that up on the wall. Ryan, as you call him, relentless, a little bark into the tires. Oh, and there it goes. D beats the tire. Heads up. All right, so Jeff Jones stays in it to win it. Powers all the way through. And Jeff Jones, you saw him slam down and stays in it. Tires, we don't need no stinking tires. So, Ryan, as far as the zeros.
Well, beating a tire is not a zero anymore, so I have to imagine this. This would be a score in my book. I mean, where's the zero? You know, if there's no debeating, I mean, debeating a tire is not a zero anymore. So, I mean, he drops down on speed quite a bit, but he maintains the angle. Let's take a look at this. Obviously, this is really not the point. That's where the tire pops right there, and it comes across here, the transition. Okay, bye. He hangs into it, keeps angle in the car. He's really slowing down now. He's right on rim. But I got to tell you, He's pretty boss for hanging on to it. Jeff Jones,
relentless again.
Once again, he adds to the fame. I love Jeff Jones.
Yeah,
man.
he's funny, man. He's a great dude. Him and his wife are great people. They're dog lovers. And they're just good people. And you know, there's that song and there's that meme, Jesus Take the Wheel. Wait, wrong one. So unfortunately, Tired debeating. Tired didn't want to be part of the situation anymore.
Well, in the past, that would have been all she wrote, but it looks like he's going to get a little lifeline here.
Yeah. And he had a 0 on his first score, so that was do or die for him, and that's exactly Jeff Jones' style. Just likes to push himself harder and harder. A 70 for Jeff Jones, puts him into 28th. Look at that face. Look at that face. Jeff Jones. He's in the mix. We're going to see him tomorrow. So
that run across the section there is just begging to be memed.
Right. All right, here we go. Ryan Tuerck, come out. Hankook tires. Yeah, right in the wall. Woo! Bouncing down. Slapping the gears, big time. Here we go. You can barely see the back half of that car. A lot of smoke coming off it. Riding the line. Boom. Great performance there from Ryan Tuerck. Tuned by Nameless, built by Nameless.
Well, a quality run here by Ryan Tuerck. Incredible throttle control from the onset. Locks into this line here, nice and high on the bank, right up against the railing there. Comes off. Look at the angle on inside clip 1. That was incredible. Probably the biggest angle we've seen there. Nice and tight on inside clip 2. Early into this outer zone. Maybe a tiny bit deeper at the very first section, but outside of that, flawless run by Ryan Tuerck, looking to better an 86, get himself into the 90 realm, top 5 guys here. I certainly think that he is telling the judges that's where he wants to be.
Don't leave in the judges' hands, as we always like to say. And a 94 jumps him up to second. A 94 jumps him up to second place in the SR by Toyota 86. Sponsored by Gumout, Hankook Tires. Mad Mike Whiddett, sure bro. Sweet A's in the Rad Bull quad rotor twin turbo Red Bull Mazda MX-5. And 83 was Mad Mike Whiddett's first score. So you can see Mad Mike Whiddett. You can see our standings, getting still up top of the 95. Whiddett sitting in 19th with an 83. I mean, look at these scores. They're all high. Here we go. Let's see if he can get even higher. Smoke if you got him. Talking Nitto Tires here for Mad Mike Whiddett. Listen to that thing sputtering, banging, parts flying off. Mad Mike Whiddett, a correction there as he entered that second clipping zone. All right, so Mad Mike Whiddett goes back to center.
Always fun to watch and even funner to listen to. Mad Mike Whiddett, I don't think he's going to better his first run. He was sitting on an 83. You can see not getting the best start on the first section of the bank. He makes a little bit of a tiny steering correction there. Something flies off his car right about there and then loses his angle. That was probably the biggest correction of the run there. He gets right back to angle. It certainly will be a decent-sized correction as he crosses the finish line. So Mad Mike Whiddett sitting in 19th place, trying to better in 83.
All right, Mad Mike Whiddett waiting to score. So an 83 was his first score. And it's another 83. It's another 83 for Mad Mike Whiddett. Keeps him in the 18th position. Right now, Remember, we will be having an autograph session at our dedicated Blackview booth. That's at 3:45. Come and meet your favorite drivers. Get an autograph at 3:45 at the Blackview booth. Matt Field with a 90 on his first run, and 90 on his first run. And if you can recall, just a very impactful run from jump. Really started to see a lot of 90s after he threw it down. Let's see how this Black Track Performance Falcon tires, Vortex Supercharged V8, built out of the Drift Cave in San Jose, California. Yeah, buddy. Woo! Throwing some smoke signals right now. Signal is he wants to get up in the mix, and he obviously will be, but just trying to better, trying to throw some more impact at this run. He was a bit off that first front clip there, Ryan, entering the power alley.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell just the tiny little nuances that make the difference between an 85 and a 95. Big throttle by Matt Field, really, really aggressive. Kind of misses some of that first section of the first inside clip, went a little bit long there, not getting into that outer zone super early, and maybe could have done the bank just a tiny bit better. This is a great run overall, but I don't know that it's going to be near the top qualifying, though that he definitely has that potential, looking to better a 90.
Yeah, it's just small, like you said, nuances, just splitting hairs as far as breaking down this course, with just 4 clipping zones and points. There's an opportunity. And a 92 jumps him up to 4th place. So look at that. I mean, going from, where he was with a 90, now jumping up considerably just with 2 points. It just shows you how dialed these guys are. And definitely excited to see Pro 2 later this afternoon and into the evening. Again, taking a look at the schedule, 3:45 is when we'll be seeing the autograph session, but taking a look at the clock, it's just about 2:30, 2:35 to be exact. Qualifying scheduled to go to 3:45, but we'll have our autograph signing at 3:45. Then we'll be having Pro 2 practice from 5 to 6. We'll be back on the live stream with 6:15 with our opening ceremonies at 6:15. And we'll begin top 16 competition for Pro 2 just around 6:45.
He's right there, forming the dirt. I see him down at the buckets right there. He's got his uniform.
So here we go. We are seeing Ken Gushi, the Grendy Performance, lead captain of the Boost Brigade. Make boost, not noise, right? Here we go. SR by Toyota, 86 on Nexen tires. Kind of a slow initiation. Oh, no! Slow initiation, then taking it into the wall.
Track safety,
Oh, man, Goosh goes hard into the wall. That could have been a lot worse, definitely. You're seeing the power go off on his vehicle.
Marshall. No, hold on.
Let's take a look at this again. Not the prettiest.
Well, Ken Gushi obviously getting out of this probably unharmed, and the car not too much damage. Watch as he initiates right here. Right there, he gets a little bit out of line, and then again, a second little tap and goes into the wall, and that'll suck you right up in there. You got to be very careful. That's why there's so many points awarded for line there, because you're just really threading the needle. As Ken Gushi just goes a little bit too close and puts himself out of commission. You can see he's definitely disappointed, but he's got an 89. He will be making it a competition, and I'm sure his team will get this vehicle fixed back and ready for tomorrow's competition.
All right, so again, we'll still get Ken's vehicle just creeping it up there on the flatbed. And when we come back, we'll see more qualifying here with a second run, and we're seeing Alec Honadale, who it's do or die for the local Floridian driver in the Juku Racing Get Nuts Laboratory Supercharged V8 vehicle, the S14 of Alec Honadale. Again, a 0, so he needs to get a score on his second run when we return here to Orlando Speed World. Welcome back here to round 3, Orlando Speed World. We are seeing Alec Honadale in Juku Racing Get Nuts Laboratory Nexen tire, S14, got the supercharged V8 under the hood. And right now, he needs to get a score if he wants to see competition tomorrow. He's from right here in Florida, and he definitely wants to impress his hometown crowd and all his fans around the world. Alec Honordale, seen him shimmy, drop that 2F performance, that Super Doof kit. Takes out that front clip. Oh, exploding all the 2F performance Super Doof kit. No big deal. Takes a licking and keeps on ticking. Holding on to it. Bring it all the way home. And Alec Honordale. All right, so.
Honordale making it a little bit scary there, especially coming over the power alley as he loses that front bumper. Let's talk about this little hit right here. Contact with the wall, loses the bumper. Tries to stay in it, does a pretty good job here. Now watch as he comes across here. The front bumper goes right in front of the vehicle. Now a lot of times that will happen, but sometimes that thing will get stuck under the front wheel and the driver will spin out. So super lucky there to avoid that, and then just destroys the rest of the bumper on that last clipping, or actually the end of the zone there. And so he will have a score. He'll make it in the top 32 for Alec Honordale going to tomorrow's competition.
All right, so Alec leaving his body kit all over the course. He has that 0, but looks like he will be receiving a score. And there it is, an 82. An 82 puts him into 22nd position. Michael Essa warming up his Achilles radials. If they weren't hot enough, just got to get them even tackier. Loudmouth exhaust BMW. Leaving the start line. Vaughn Gittin Jr. still the guy to beat, the 95. Pours it on. Look at that. Poised, settled, rocking through that first outside clipping zone. You can see that front clip shaking from fear. About the second tally mark on that second front clipping zone. Could be out that yellow line. That would definitely receive maximum points. So I don't think we're not going to be seeing the 100-point score, but we're definitely going to be seeing a high one. A lot of commitment there and good fluidity, Ryan.
Yeah, great commitment right there by Michael Essa. Starting off pretty strong here. Gets to angle pretty quickly, then locks in that line. Nice and high on the bank. Great perspective there from that camera as he comes off into that first inside clip. Now back around, holds through it, through the power alley on that second outer zone. And then right here, as you mentioned, not able to get into the second outer zone as quickly as you'd like to see him, nor as deep. But overall, a solid run by Michael Essa.
Michael Essa waiting his score. And Michael Essa betters his first score, a 91, as he yanks down on it and gets a 7th spot position as it stands.
Pretty incredible to see a lot of these drivers with scores in the 90s, and a 91 gets you a 7th place. I mean, that gives you an indication of what kind of track this is and how drivers are going to be adapting to it. Typically, we see maybe 3-4 drivers in the 90s on some of the more challenging courses. With this layout, it's really going to push people to go for that as high a score as possible. And Vaughn Gittin Jr. already a 95, one of the highest scores that we've seen in recent years. I think FD Ebisu, we saw another 95 by number 1 qualifier. So drivers are definitely going for it.
I think it's going to make for some really exciting dogfights here as Forrest Wang leaves the start line. That's currently Forrest Wang in the Gittins Laboratory Hankook tires. Sylvia S15, yeah. Back on the wall is Wang. Just barely passing by that front clip. Does not get out to that yellow line, just a similar line to there of Essa. Now he does the later portion of that second outer zone.
Yeah, as you said, Jared, pretty similar to Essa on that second part of the course as we take a look at Forrest here from initiation. Locks into that line. Pretty good job on the bank. Tons of smoke coming off the car here. Nice approach into this inside clip. Trying to maximize the angle there on that first inside clip. He puts a little bit of angle into the vehicle here, so dropping down just a bit on the fluidity aspect of things, but just a minor criticism. Pretty good. Could have been a little bit deeper into that second outer zone and a little bit earlier, but overall for Forrest Wang, solid second attempt as he tries to better his first score.
All right, some housekeeping. If you're here at Orlando Speed World and you drive a black Mercedes, plate number 887 ST. Again, if you drive a black Mercedes 887 ST, it is currently blocking some portion of the front parking lot. You need to move it immediately. So again, a black Mercedes. As Forrest Wang, he gets a 90. He gets an 88 on his second run. A 90, his first run stands to be the highest of the two. So he holds his spot currently in 9th. So T McHugh, Tyler Mcquarrie. Tyler Mcquarrie with a 91. A 91. Look at that. That's just outside. He's currently in 6th position. Here we go. Tyler Mcquarrie, Mobile One, Falcon Tires, Safecraft, GoPro, Chevy Camaro. That's not where you want to be on the bank. And he'll just shut it down here. All right, so
going for that big flick.
yeah, he was going hard, man. He wanted that #1 qualifying position. I mean, you know who you're going against, right? Like at this point, like, okay, Tyler, he's seen the kind of runs. Can he do those caliber runs? Because he knows he's going to have to go door to door with them.
Well, 6th place, that would put him right up in 20 against the 28th position driver, I think.
Actually 7th. He's just outside 7th.
So that would be one more down. 29.
One more down. So yep. Dai Yoshihara, turn 14 distribution, ARC Performance, Falcon Tires, turbocharged V8 Subaru BRZ. That's a mouthful. It's a handful. Now he's on the right-hand side. Right-hand drive. BRZ. Switched it from last year to this year, and obviously it worked out. He got his podium spot there in Atlanta at our previous round. A 91 on his first run. Can he better it? Here we go. We're about to find out. From the former Formula Jip champion, you can see the front wheel locking up. You can see that front right wheel throwing some smoke. Tapping the brakes there a little bit so he can stand on throttle. You can see his bumper flex there from tapping that front clip. The Momo kitted out, undefeated. Sponsored by Undefeated Clothing. McLeod, there you go. Is that enough, Ryan?
Well, Dai trying to find his mojo here. Coming off that great finish in Road Atlanta, trying to follow up here. Good throttle control on the bank. Pretty tight right there. Coming off the bank now, wrapping into that first inside clip. Nice job on the second inside clip, just going over the rubber stomper there. Now trying to get into this zone. Locks into it. Good throttle control across the finish line, and nice smoothness right there by Daijiro Yoshihara. Now Dai in 7th place. There you go.
Okay, Dai now in 7th place with that 91. He still holds his spot. So I don't know if there's a tie there or he bettered it with his second score. He bettered Tyler McQuarrie's. Yeah, so they both had a 91. And Dai's second score beats that of McQuarrie. So he bumps up to 7th and it'll bump McQuarrie down to 8th.
That's right. And that puts him 7th, so he's going to be going up against the 26th ranked driver, so whoever that is at this point.
That's if everything stands as
everything
it is.
stands, yeah.
All right, so now we're currently into top five drivers. Another driver who shocked the world there at round 1, Long Beach, has yet to run, Chelsea Denofa. He's our second to last qualifying driver, but right now, Forsberg, who already has a 92, can he better it? We talked about, just ticking the boxes. Look at that, exploding that front clip. Look how disrupted that car gets. You see that front left wheel locking up, getting out to that yellow line, really dancing in the paint. Oh, what a feeling when you're dancing on the ceiling. As Chris Forsberg lights him up and waits a score.
You really get an idea of the tire pressure they're running when you see him coming towards us here. You can see Forsberg on initiation, drops down for a second, now getting settled. Pretty high on the bank. Probably could have done it a tiny bit better. Like you said, hits that first inside clip, but tight there. Locking up that front wheel. Really good job on that second outer zone. This is where he gets a little bit of a lift here. But overall, solid on this second outer zone. Full throttle across the finish line. And run number 2 in the books for Chris Forsberg.
And Chris Forsberg does not better. An 87 on his second run. Seats him still in the 4th qualifying position.
So if everything holds, he'll be going up against the 29th ranked driver.
But the big thing here again, Chelsea Denofa, no show on his first run. If he does not show up for a second run or gets a 0, that would mean our number 1 qualifier, Vaughn Gittin Jr., would get a bye in the 32, and he's our number 1 qualifier in Atlanta. He's on a tear, man. I mean, that's a nice little gift if you don't have to, do battle or, you just get the fast pass in the 16.
And that's what occurred at Road Atlanta as well.
Yep. All right, so here we go. We got Fredric Aasbo, Rockstar Energy Drink, next in tire. SR by Toyota, 86 on Motegi wheels. Look at that. Nice and settled. Good composure from the Norwegian Hammer. Rappenhammers right now. Blends in, the car matches. You can see that back yellow fin just blending into that yellow line. Great showing by the defending champion, Fredric Aasbo.
Well, 95 by Vaughn Gittin Jr. certainly is a very tall order. Everything's got to be just about perfect here. You can see Aasbo drops down for a second, now reaches up towards the bank. He gets really close right there, then he comes off, wraps into this first inside clip. Decent there, good transition back, nice smoothness here. Not as close to that first inside clip as we've seen some other guys, and a tiny bit late into this second outer zone. A solid run. But for somebody like Fredric Aasbo, defending champion, trying to accumulate as many points as he can. Points do accumulate in qualifying. Currently sitting pretty good right now, but trying to move up the ladder.
A 92, so he does not better score, holds at 92, which keeps him in 3rd position. So Odi Bakchis, our next qualifying driver. Odi Bakchis, Arc Performance Field Suspension Falcon Tires, Hyundai Genesis Coupe. Getting into our top 3 drivers. And the Hyundai leaves the start line. Bakchis with a 90 on his first score. Can he get in that top 5 realm? Right now he's looking strong. Slams down, but does not buckle. Nice job, good composure. The bright green wheels could be a gift or a curse. Right now, it looks like a gift because it's showcasing how minimal his corrections were. So Odi Bakchis gaining some applause from the fans.
Really like Odi's initiation here. You see some guys kind of hiccup on initiation. Odi just initiates and gets right back to throttle immediately. Nice and tight on the bank, pretty high up there. I mean, right in the tire particulate, as we like to say. Tight on that inside clip. Good fluid motion. Great angle that he's able to hold here. Makes a slight adjustment as he goes deep into the second outer zone. Solid run right here by Odi Bakchis as he wraps around this last section of the turn, crosses the finish line.
Oh, no.
And if we can go to Odi Bakchis on course now, you can see getting
like
out of the vehicle. So something happened between the time that we put the replay up and Odi was heading back to the start line there.
Yeah, and if you can recall, if you heard last year or watched it online, we had a couple fires last year. We had Masashi Yokoi, and then we had Chris Forsberg catch on fire, and another case of fire on track. And it is right on track, so we'll clean that up as well. But look at that, a 93, jumps up to 3rd.
Nice.
So, Ryan, talking about the implications here. So, one, Odi's on fire. He got a score. He's in the mix. Fortunately, he can work on it. Fortunately, hopefully, he can get it back together. But the big elephant in the room is Chelsea Denofa currently sitting 2nd coming into the championship. If he does not get a point or he does not show up, if he doesn't score in qualifying or he doesn't show up, that would mean Vaughn Gittin Jr., who's our current leader and our number 1 qualifier, would get a bye, automatically advancing to 16. So, boom, there's championship implications there. There's points at stake or advancement. And Chelsea Denofa would go down considerably given that a no-show here in Orlando.
There's a fairly decent size discrepancy between Denofa and Gittin for 1st and 2nd place, and this would certainly make that gap much, much bigger. It seems like right now that Denofa is the only current driver that could take out Vaughn for number 1 qualifying, or that will be 2 for 2 for Gittin, and he'll certainly be on a very, very quick surge, trying to mount his attack at his 2nd championship. 2010 was his first year. He was extremely dominant that year, had 6 podiums,
Yeah.
looked incredible. We talked about this at Road Atlanta, that he looked very 2010-ish, where it just could do no wrong. The
Right.
car looked perfect. He was doing crazy things. He was very consistent. He just looked like the best driver out there, and that seems to be the motif that's starting to carry into this season. Obviously, it's a long season. There's a lot of things that can happen, but right now, as Denofa makes his way to the line, it does look like he will get out there. But now, Jared, the pressure is on for him. He's got to make a pass, and he's got to get a score.
All right, so we are seeing Denofa here pull to, or actually just pull onto the course. Yeah, like I said, the elements, the conditions, 91 degrees out here, and high humidity, and it's going to be just as hot tomorrow, going into tomorrow. So it's going to be a warm one. Remember, Pro 2 this evening. We have a bunch of festivities going on today. As far as taking a look at the clock, it's 3 o'clock. We are scheduled to have qualifying, as we are quickly expediting this, obviously with 2 cars left. That's not going to take 45 minutes, but we will be having our driver's autograph session at 3:45. Then we'll be having Pro 2 practice from 5 to 6, but our live stream won't be going live till 6:15. So we'll be seeing Pro 2 opening ceremonies at 6:15. With top 16 Pro 2 competition going down from 6:45 till it's over. And that should be our estimated time about 8:30, 9 o'clock. And we'll have the trophy ceremony here at Orlando Speed World. Tomorrow, the gates open to the public 11 o'clock. We're going 11 till 9 o'clock tomorrow. It's going to be an action-packed day tomorrow, all killer, no filler, where we're going to be seeing pro competition, top 32 head-to-head battles. 2 more drivers left to run. This BC Racing BMW on GT radial tires. Again, who really just impressed and raised a lot of eyebrows at round 1 in Long Beach. Excited to see if he could blow it out here. Chelsea Denofa. Ryan, what's your expectations?
I think at this point, if I was his spotter, I would just say go out and lay down a run that is going to get a score.
Yeah.
Keep it on the track. Let's get into the top 32.
Yeah, don't do anything too dangerous. Just get a score on the board. You're in the show. You just need to put a run down. I mean, he saw Jeff Jones lose a tire and still get a score, and he's still in the mix. So Denofa right now, put the ego aside, put the kind of say howdy, get rowdy attitude, but right now,
sick run though.
How do you say that to Chelsea Denofa as he just put down a pretty solid run there? It's hard to back off when you're Chelsea Denofa.
Yeah, hey Chelsea, could you keep it conservative? No, I'm going to go for number 1 qualifying run. And look at this, he comes out of the gate super strong. Look at that rear wing, almost right up against the railing there. I mean, great job on the bank, manages the transition pretty well. Hops up, nice little skip right there. A little bit long on that second inside clip, but gets super deep and early into that last outer zone. I mean, this is an incredible run. This is not I'm trying to get into the top 32. This is I'm trying to get into the top 5.
Yeah.
So great job by Chelsea Denofa, and a big.
Yeah, a big statement for Denofa here as we await his score with 1 more driver left, and if Denofa does not beat that 95. Vaughn Gittin Jr. will be your number 1 qualifier, but without a bye. So an 87 still a strong score, but an 87 at any other track would definitely be higher than 16th. But a good showing there from Chelsea Denofa, and it's great to see him in tomorrow's competition, head-to-head battles, top 32. As again, our autograph session 3:45. So in just about 40 minutes, we've seen all the drivers and one last run. We're to see Vaughn Gittin Jr. do battle with the elements, with his car, and with this track. All right, and just seeing a golf cart right now. Where is Vaughn Gittin Jr.? Is he opting out of his second round? Okay. Well, I'm thinking that that Vaughn probably doesn't even run this run. He's number 1 qualifier. He doesn't really need to unless he wants to go for a perfect run and get some more track time. But obviously, no reason to call a competition timeout. He's already sitting pretty right now.